Hi, this is Musa. I wanna show you a game from US Championship 2015 men's section between young Samuel Sevian, 14 years old, and already doing very well in this tournament against the great Hikaru Nakamura, US number 1 and world number 2 in classic rapid blitz for the moment. Samuel had the white pieces and started with e4, opposing the Berlin after bishop to b5 and knight to f6. d3, quiet move, and d6. c3, preparing d4 once again manually, and g6 here. And this is very rare to be seen in the Berlin. Castling kingside for white and bishop to g7, rook to e1 now, castling kingside for black, knight b d2, natural development, and a6. Bishop to a4, h6 now, and white spot the idea of playing knight to f1 now, maybe preparing bishop to e3 after h3, and queen to d2, and maybe attacking the h6. But b5 now, and bishop to b3. Black doesn't like the light squared white bishop to stay on b3, eyeing the f7, so he plays knight to a5. Bishop c2 from Samuel, and c5. As you can see, black is expanding on the queen side while white has barely initial ideas to attack the king side. Let's see who's faster. d4 now, e takes d4, c takes d4, and black did not take. He played bishop to g4 first. Maybe after c takes d4 and knight takes d4, black will shift focus and get his light squared bishop prepared to get his knight back from the rim. So maybe Nakamura here preferred bishop to g4, and now d5 from Samuel Sevian, closing the center. Obviously white is not ready for the moment. His e4 is a bit of a weakness, so he closed the center with d5, and now knight c4. Knight e3 challenging the knight. Knights are exchanged and rook takes here. Obviously the bishop or the pawn on f2 should not take because e4 remains a weakness, so rook takes e3, supporting the center, and rook to e8, pressuring the e4 pawn. h3 attacking the bishop. The bishop pretty much has no good square, so bishop says goodbye to the game. Queen takes f3 and knight to d7. Knight has ideas of expanding with c4 and coming to c5 or even e5, but this is anyways weakening his defensive bishop, but it's still a good move. Rook to b1, maybe the undefended corner rook is scared of the g7 bishop, so rook to b1 and queen to h4. Rook to e2 here. The idea is that bishop will come to d4, knight will come to e5, and as you can see, the bishop will first pin the rook. f2 is a bit of a weakness, so white spot that and played rook to e2. c4 now. Maybe the knight has decided to come to c5 instead of e5. Queen to f4, trying to exchange queens. As you can see, black's queen is the only piece that is entering the white's territory. Nakamura refuses the exchange of queens, and bishop to d2. a5 now. This is forbidding the bishop from entering the game via a5, so a5 from black, queen to g3, and now knight to c5. As you can see, f3 is not a good move here to defend e4 because the bishop will enter the game. So b3 now, c takes b3, bishop takes b3, and the knight didn't take the good bishop. Now that it's locked behind the d5 pawn, he took the pawn on e4, attacking the queen for the moment and not afraid of the knight being pinned to the queen. Queen to d3 and f5. Obviously Black has some other cute alternatives, which are knight to c5, attacking both the queen and the bishop. Rook takes e7, taking the queen on e7, and now knight takes d3. Rook takes e8 check, rook takes e8, and maybe bishop now takes on a5 before the diagonal is closed. Rook to e2, attacking the f2, and maybe bishop to b6 defending. Now knight c5, the bishop will come to d4, attacking the f2, but maybe king to f1. After rook to d2, the game is about equal. But let's see, after queen to d3 we have f5 supporting the knight, and black here took on b5. Let's see some other alternatives. If something like f3, now the knight should be gone, but black has one move only, and that is queen to a7. I bet many players won't see these moves. And if something like bishop to e3, then knight to c5, and if something like queen takes b5 now, then the bishop is gone on e3. If rook takes, then bishop to d4. Let's see something like rook d1, bishop takes e3, and or even f4 here, taken with a pawn maybe. So f3 here should not work. Maybe something like bishop to c2, and black will have the chance to play b4 and still remain a pawn up. And something like bishop to a4, rook e c8, and if f3 is played now, then queen to a7 check does not have the same effect, because the rook on c8 should be on e8, but the bishop prevents that. And maybe here black in this position can play knight to c5, attacking the bishop and the queen. If rook takes e7, knight takes d3, bishop to c6, attacking the a rook, rook a b8, and maybe black is better now. Let's go back to our game. We have queen takes b5, getting back the pawn, and bishop to d4. Ideas to attack the f2 square. Bishop to e1 defending. Maybe white here is expecting queen to h4, now that the white queen is far away from the defense of the king, along with the bishop on b3 and the rook on b1. So bishop to e1 and queen to f7. This is attacking the d5 weakness, and if the bishop moves, then or the queen goes back to the king side, then yes, this is a weakness. Now queen to d3, queen to f6, and maybe black has ideas to play his bishop to c3, exchange bishops, and play the knight, and play the knight to c3, and the knight is forking two pieces. So rook to d1, bishop to e5. Now that Nakamura changed his mind, queen to f3, a4 now attacking the bishop, bishop to c4, and rook e c8, attacking the bishop, bishop to b5, attacking the pawn, and knight to c3, attacking both rooks and a bishop. So bishop must take, rook takes, and this is attacking the queen, so rook to e3 and rook to c2. The bishop will pin the rook, and maybe either attack the f2 or the a2. So rook to e2 back, and Nakamura has a draw in hand for the moment to repeat the moves: rook c3, rook e3, rook c2, rook e2, but he took, maybe hoping for a win with black. Queen takes e2 and queen to h4. Queen to c2, getting the queen controlling the c file. Bishop to d4, attacking f2, and bishop to d7. After Nakamura played king to h7, trying to enter a late middle game or even an end game, one of the one of the players, I'm not sure if it's Nakamura or Samuel Sevian, offered a draw, and it was agreed. So draw was agreed, and it's half a point for each opponent. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye for now.